Okay, so we have completed the release state parameter. Now jumping to test case 9. Here we need to see how we can work with the multiple consumer address. Okay, so it's again very simple. Like, let's go to PingFederate now to understand this. So yeah, like, let's open this Salesforce. Now the Salesforce, like this application configuration, if you can see, we have the Assertion consumer service URL, which is nothing but address where application wants a token. So here you can see we have the index value, you have the binding, you have the endpoint URL. So if it is only one, then it's by default, like, it's basically going to send the response to this only. But if you have multiple, like if you have 10 consumer URL, then how PingFederate can decide where I need to go? Whether I need to go to index value 0 or I need to go to index value 1, 2, 3, how PingFed can decide that? So for that, like, there are two things. So if I can show you, if you access the SP initiated SSO, if you are accessing the SP initiated SSO URL, then what will happen? Like, I'll show you with the SAML tracer. Let me complete my authentication first. Okay. Okay, yeah, so let's go to tracer now. So let's check the request. SAML authentication request came from the Salesforce. So in this request, if you can see here, like just a second, yeah, so here what parameters we have, like here, like it's already SAML to authentication request, it's saying, and here already application defined the consumer service URL, that hey, this is my consumer service URL and I need to please send me the response to this address only. So this is also one of the way SP can just have a control. So service provider can send you this address, or maybe they can send you the index value, and based on that index value, PingFederate can look, okay, I just need to send the response to this address. That is, there are two ways, right? Using index value also, or the service provider can just define the address in the request. So PingFederate can simply check from there and then send the response to that address. Okay, that's a way this is the way from the SP side. But from the IDP side, how you can how PingFederate can decide that? That's the question, right? Okay. So for that, SP you understand, right? So basically SP, you just need to think about this request. In the request, SP has to define. If it's SP is not defining, PingFederate is also not going to define anything. It can simply send the response to the default address. That means now whatever the address you added in the index value 0, it will simply going to send the response to that address. Okay. Now, like, let's test the IDP. Let's try to see how in the IDP how the things will work, because in the IDP you are simply going to PingFederate. So how PingFederate can understand where which address I need to send the response. So for that there is a way. I'll show you. Let me close this. Let's go to PingFederate. Now you have the index value 0. Just add index value 1 and just put a post binding and give some address here, random, like test1.com. Click on add. Just give another like index value 2 and add a post binding and give value like http test2.com. Yeah, these are the three addresses you have. Now how PingFederate can navigate to this value, to the index, different index value. So 0 we have the application, 1 we have the test1, and 2 for the test2. Let's try to understand this. So let me save this first and I'll do the cluster management. Okay, clusters were automatically changes are automatically replicated to the cluster. Okay, this is automatically done. That's fine. Now let's copy the IDP initiated SSO URL. Now from this URL, PingFed can understand, okay, this is the user wants to access this Salesforce application, and let's from their policy it defines that, okay, how the authentication is going to happen and how the token generation will happen. But where I need to send the response, how PingFed can know? It's not like PingFed can send the default value. But if you are again not defining anything to PingFederate, PingFed is going to do the same thing. So now let's try to see. First, like, just access this URL. Don't do anything. Simply just access this URL and just put your ID and password. Just 3.example. So PingFederate can simply send the response to the default address. That means the default is, this is the default address, correct? So if you can just in the response, you can see that I'll show you where basically PingFed is sending the response. So it can just show you that address also. Recipient, you can see this is the consumer service address where basically PingFed is sending the response. And then you have the audience also. So SAML audience means the identifier of the application. That means entity ID of the application, and recipient means consumer service address of the application. So PingFed can simply send the response to this address, which is at the default value index 0, because we haven't defined, we haven't tell anything to PingFederate. Now let's see, we are going to say something to PingFederate. So see whether PingFed is listening that or not. So just enable the tracer and then just put this address. And same way how we added the relay state parameter, the similar way, just put and give ACS IDX equals to, just put ACS index value equals to 1 and see what will happen. Click on enter, put your ID and password, test3.example. So now it has to send the response to where? To basically test1.com. You can see the response has been sent to test1.com. So if you can see the response, there will be proper response. There is no any issue with the response, the proper attributes, everything you will see. But the response has sent to where? It basically went to the test1.com. So if you can just see the recipient here, I'll show you. Yeah, the recipient here is http test1.com and the identifier will be the same, the Salesforce application. So because here we have defined the ACS IDX, if you can see here, we have defined the parameter ACS IDX 1. So that's a parameter we are adding. So we are forcing PingFederate to send the response to this address only, which is defined for the index value 1. In similar way, you can do for the index value 2 also. If I can show you, just type this and put and ACS IDX equals to 2. Enter. So you can see it sent to the test2.com. Yeah. So that's like a simple thing what we understand, correct? So it's basically navigating with the index value, but you are defining that in the IDP initiated request in the URL itself. You are passing that parameter and ACS IDX, how we pass it in the related parameter like and target resource. This is the way PingFederate is giving you a solution. You can navigate to the multiple address in the case of IDP, but in the case of SP has to define in the request. Based on that, PingFederate can take a decision and send the response. That is about the ACS to navigate to with the multiple ACS addresses, Assertion consumer service addresses. I hope you understand this. So yeah, if you have any question, please put in the comment section. Okay, let's jump to the next section. Yeah, thank you.